So I don't normally film videos at nighttime, but I promise there's a good reason for it for this particular video. Today we're checking out a super cool and awesome board. So this board is coming out really soon by Uditer, and it's called the Uditer Pixel Rider. And I think you can pretty clearly see how it gets that name. So this is an electric longboard unlike any longboard that has ever been made before. It's controlled with an app, so it's super awesome. You download the app, pair the board as soon as you turn it on, and you can choose all these cool different designs. So I'm gonna put one on right now. You just tap it, it'll send it to the board, and then you can ride around with these super cool designs on the board. So the first really cool thing about this board, besides the obvious, which is the pixel display, is the grip tape. It's actually a really cool solution that they came up with here. They're using a type of grip tape that is not made out of the typical black kind of grip tape with the glass particles and glue, but rather this almost like rubbery type material, which provide enough grip for you to feel pretty close to like a normal skateboard, but you still get enough traction. So it's a really unique solution to the problem, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. There's a couple other interesting things about this board besides the pixel display that I gotta mention. Number one being the bottom of the board. So if we flip it around on the bottom, you can see this here is the battery, and it's the first board that I have personally seen where it comes with the option to remove the battery. There's some little tabs right here, and you can pull them and pop the battery out, and you can actually replace the whole thing with another battery. So this could be super useful if you're going on a really long ride and you get to a destination, you run out of battery, you can just pull one out of your backpack or something and swap it out and be able to get home and not have to worry about being out of battery. Another thing I like about the board is these wheels are really big. They have a little bit of traction, and that makes it really good for gripping a lot of different surfaces, as well as riding it in wet and rainy conditions, which I unfortunately learned today as I took it out for a little test and it started raining on me, which was actually a good test to figure out if the board was waterproof and water resistant, which clearly it must be. I mean, it's still working. And the wheels actually held really well to the wet surfaces, and they didn't slip around, and they were still braking really well. So I really like that about them as well. Trucks are your pretty standard longboard trucks, nothing super crazy or special, but they work really well. And the remote looks like this. It's got a loop in it. It's a really big remote, surprisingly, which I don't know how I feel about that. I like the smaller remotes, but I think it does its purpose pretty well, and I like having the hole for grip purposes. And it works just like your typical electric longboard, where you flick it and it'll go, and you pull it backwards and it'll break. So obviously this is just a first impressions video, so I haven't done a super long-term extensive review on the board yet, but I can say that from the little bit of riding and stuff that I've done, it's performed exceptionally well. The handling is there, the traction, the braking, the acceleration, the battery life seems surprisingly good, even considering that it has to power this whole LED screen as well. And the charging time goes pretty quick as well, and I really like the sound that it makes when the motors go. Let's talk a little bit about the obvious feature here, the pixel screen. It's got a bunch of pixel LEDs all over the screen, and you control the pixels with the app. It's called the iPixel Color app, and when you open the app and turn on the board, it gives you the option to pair the board to your phone. So every time you want to ride the board, you open the app up to pair it, and then it'll give you this option of all these different DIY custom preset things that you can tap and then send to the board. So just like that, I updated it to a new design. But not only that, it has a bunch of other cool things as well. So you can do like a DIY picture where you click on it and then you can draw on the screen, and then the pixels will show up on the board. You can even apparently upload photos, but I haven't figured that one out exactly yet. You can also type in text, so I can write the word hello and hit send, and it'll send the word hello right to the board like that. There's a bunch of other features in the app that are really cool, but even if you don't want to design your own things, there's a ton of presets to choose from, and it makes it a really cool riding experience. And I think it's a super fun kind of thing to be able to have on your board, especially when you're riding at night, to be able to show off with your friends and stuff like that. So really the only negative that I have personally found with the board is that obviously this board is meant to be ridden at night, right? I mean, it lights up for a reason and you can see it best at night. The thing is, when it's really pitch black, if you're riding in areas where there's like no street lamps or literally anything around, it's actually really hard to see what's in front of you, because the light coming from the surface of the board hits your face at a way that almost is like if you were holding a flashlight below you lit up. It kind of like blinds your eyes, and then it makes it hard to see in front of you. So that's why I recommend, if you want to ride this when it's really pitch black out with no street lamps or anything, you should get yourself a set of shred lights or something similar to that you can put onto the trucks right at the front like this. Now I did ask Uditer like why they didn't include these lights, and it sounds like it's something that they may consider in the future, but they also wanted to leave it up to the rider and their preferences for whether they want to include them or not. So if that's something that may become an issue for you, but you still want to get the board, definitely check out shred lights or some other sort of skateboard light that you can attach to the trucks. And I think it's going to make a huge difference for the riding experience for your nighttime rides. Now, who do I think this board is for? I think it has a very specific and unique audience, and I think there's going to be people that would really like it, yet I also think there's going to be people that are going to find this not very useful. I think this is really for an enthusiast rider that wants to have fun with their longboard at nighttime, whether that's alone or with friends, where you can drive somewhere at night, take it, go on a really cool ride, have your cool lights showing off, and be able to just have fun with it. I don't think this board is good for a daily commuting board, and I don't think it's a board that you really want to be slashing around your city with, mainly because, number one, obviously you can't really see the pixels in the daytime, so it kind of takes away the whole purpose of the cool factor of the board. And number two, it's a pretty heavy board with the LED panels and the batteries on the bottom. This thing weighs quite a bit, and if you're riding it in the city, you're probably going to want to pick it up, walk around, put it back on the ground, do some sharp turns and stuff, and this board is just not ideal for that. But what this is ideal for is taking it to a large open concrete space or some trails around your town when it's dusk or nighttime, and shredding around with some awesome designs on the board. Especially, I bet if you have a bunch of friends that have these, taking them around the block and riding it around, it could be a super cool and fun time. Not to mention the endless amounts of photo opportunities that you get with a cool board and designs. Like, think of all the Instagram photos you could take with different designs and having your skateboard next to you in your photos. I think that would be a pretty cool selling point. So there's clearly a market for this board, and if you think you are one of the people that would benefit from having this Uditer Pixel Rider board, I definitely encourage you guys to check out their Kickstarter. I'll leave a link in the description of the video to their Kickstarter campaign. Definitely check them out. I think it's a super cool product, and I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with this board. That's going to be about it for the first impressions video. I do plan on doing a more full long-term review as I've ridden it a little bit more, so definitely subscribe to the channel and catch the next video for when that comes out. And I have some other cool videos coming out as well. But for the time being, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something cool. Check the board out, and I'll catch you on the next one.